Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Wednesday to you. It's June 8th. Tomorrow is 6/9/2022. Today is 6/8. We're gonna look at Gamestop. I dodged a bullet today, but I also got my shares called away. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We're gonna look at that TA. Where are we going in the next few days and maybe next week? I'm not sure. So far, predictions on SPY and GME have been pretty close, and it's worked out. I'm actually more hyped today than yesterday, even though it's red. Good consolidation day. We've got a Twitter you can follow us on at Happy Money YT, as well as a Discord server. Link for that's in the description. A lot of people calling stuff out in there. I did call out. I was in chat a bit. We were kind of waiting for this break and anticipating whether it was going to actually break and keep going, or if it was going to be kind of a false breakout. And we called false breakout real early on for a number of reasons I'll talk about in a second. SPY consolidating more or less like we were kind of expecting until CPI on Friday. Trading this range, I think CPI could go either way. If after Friday, I don't actually know when it comes out. In the morning, maybe Friday before market. I can't remember. But once that's come out, I think the market will be able to release and decide a direction, bottom to go up or down. Sometimes the initial reaction right after CPI is the opposite of what happens, but I think it comes out before market opens, so it might not work that way. However, this consolidation, we're going to figure out which way the trend is going to go after that information comes out, and I think if it breaks this 407, we're coming down, and we'll have new lows, 367 or so. Time frame, not sure. And if it comes out, well, however it comes out, if the market decides bullish on it, then I think we need to wait to see the 417. If it breaks that, then I would see a rally, a bear market rally up to probably up to here, 437. Well, 423 is kind of that first little resistance back here. See what happens there. If it breaks that, probably at 435-ish. Yeah. And how this correlates with GME is because SPY and GME are on the same track still, even after these weird days. You can kind of see it. GME is making bigger moves to the upside, but it is actually consolidating this range just like this is. This is just a tighter range. So GameStop, what's crazy is it's in uncharted territories. To me, at least, it looks different. It's good. That's what we want. It's broken out of somewhat of a recognizable pattern, I think, just because we've had this big bullishness, kind of out of schedule basically, or one, and then after that bullish rally, we had this consolidation for what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of consolidation, and typically we've gotten that. So here's 4 days of consolidation. Here's longer, but this was not. This was like a kind of a sell-off and then another peak, not really necessarily consolidation. I guess it could be similar to this consolidation and drop, but not really, because we're breaking out now. So we really haven't had something. It doesn't look like anything quite that we've had so far, and it might start to look like a pattern that's repeating at some point. But even just the time frame that we're in right now is kind of unusual. We've got June OPEX. It's not for another week though, and then the end of that, and the end of June, a lot of external catalysts that could come in with news, the split, the NFT marketplace, partnerships, whatever, which could have any sort of effect. If it's just an NFT marketplace and there's no big partnerships, or they're not some crazy bullish, something crazy, I don't think the NFT marketplace release will cause any sort of positive price action. If there is positive price action, they're going, and it's during the release, they're just going to say, oh, that was the reason, but I don't think it'll be from that. If there's some crazy partnership, whatever, with when the release comes out, when they release that news, when the marketplace is released, then I could see that actually causing price action from institutions and whatnot. This run the last couple days, I don't know exactly what it's from. I don't know if it's insiders buying, institutions buying, some sort of rolling over, some sort of covering. Borrow rates are super high. They've come down a little bit, but they're still extremely high. So could be any number of things. I think the only thing we do know is that RC kind of knew it was coming. He tweeted about work being sexy. I think it was this day. So to me, that rules out some stuff that it probably isn't. Because he knows the cycles more or less, and so it could be that, but this is out of the time frame, I think. He might know insider buying. Maybe it's him that's buying, so he could know that. Yeah. So basically, what the fact that he knows that's kind of a clue onto what this could be, and kind of process of elimination there. But price action, it looks good. Yesterday, remember, I was like, this is good. We broke resistances. I'm not totally convinced yet. I'd like to see a break of that 150. We also saw it, and it hadn't yet. And then, of course, Tuesdays it likes to rally also. Sometimes Wednesdays as well. And then today, it looked like, okay, if it breaks that, it could be setting up this RSI divergence here. And sure enough, it was just grinding up at 150. Oh, you guys want to know about my shares that got called away? I'll have to show you guys that. Gap down this morning, and then a grind up, and just kind of looked very bullish. And we were just waiting for that 150 break. I loaded up on weeklies. I actually loaded up heavy, dodged a bullet big time today. Had like $3,000 in weeklies right about here, and I was like, oh, this will be great, because if it breaks and goes, you know, it would have been like 30 or 40 grand. And that's only with like a 175 price target. And I think if it did break with some momentum, with some volume, like a proper break, I think it would have easily hit 175 by week close. But when it broke, it spiked with some volume. We had it, and it was looking good, and then just kind of slowed up. I'm like, okay, this could be setting up a false breakout. I called it out in chat. A couple other people were probably calling it out too. And right about this time, my exposure was up, but I was like, this seems like it's trying to do a false breakout. And then my first clue was SPY started dropping, and I saw SPY dropping. It dropped first, and I thought, you know, GME, with how weak it is right now, and with it following the SPY, if SPY is dumping, it's not going to be able to do this without SPY. So that was, let's see, 12:30. That was right here. SPY started dropping, but even before then, 12:25. So yeah, so actually I closed a lot of my long plays right here, and I dodged a big bullet there because yeah, I didn't want to lose all that on weeklies. And I actually opened up a call credit spread, a bearish play somewhere around here, because by that point SPY was coming down. I was like, if we don't break it and keep going with heavy momentum and volume, then it's going to come down. It's not just going to hang out right above that resistance of 150. So sure enough, it did, and we came down. But it actually held up pretty well after it came down. And so I'm still definitely bullish on it. Kind of held the support a bit, that line that we had already drawn. But what I like is, yeah, the fact that it held that support. It did flip bearish on the hourly. Not a big deal to me, because you see these candles, look, it's almost repeating this kind of same deal, just at a bigger scale. So we had the rip, consolidated, kind of hit a double top, and then it came down, and that's when we flipped bearish on the hourly here, and then it found a support with these dojied candles, small bodied candles. So we'll see if that's starting to form tomorrow. I'm expecting maybe it will. And then maybe another rally Friday or next week. But a lot of it has to do with the SPY, I think, also, because we are still tied in with SPY. So if SPY rallies after CPI, you know, GME, it definitely could. If SPY even just stays kind of flat, but not a crazy down move, I think GME still could rally. But yeah, I'm still very bullish on this this price action, because the RSI was hot. We do have this divergence, so we're calling out the divergence too on Discord. We had the RSI divergence a bit. It's a little messy, but the MACD divergence is pretty clear. Higher highs here than here, and lower highs in the MACD. So that's indicating a downward move. So tomorrow, I'm thinking it probably tests a lower support before it rallies, if it rallies tomorrow or at all. But it's similar to just what happened here. We had a rally, and then three down days, and then it just basically was consolidating, and then up, and so we're still in this, still making this bull flag. Yeah, so let's go on the 4 hour too. So for me to think, okay, this is the end of this little rally, I think probably breaking, let me see, where were my marks? I think if we break this low, this 130, and definitely this 125, then this rally is probably over, and we're going to probably come back to 100 or even double digits before maybe June OPEX. That's all seems like it's happening pretty fast, but I think it could happen. And that again has to do with the SPY. So I'm kind of watching SPY just to kind of front run it. If it holds up, and tomorrow I think like 130, I'm thinking, if it stays above that 130, so it might come down tomorrow 130 and kind of consolidate, kind of how like this day was, or even like this day where it's just retracing some of its move. Then even into Friday, it might still be in that range, but I think next week could rip from here and we won't come back down, because we're still on the day, we're still bullish. 4 hour, we're still bullish. The only thing it flipped bearish on, at least on this time frame, was the weekly, and the fact that it kind of bounced in the support. It looks like a bearish flip like this until we really break through that 130 and we retrace that whole move. I think it's looking good with that. On the weekly, nice bull flag setting up. Honestly, like that thing's legit. We got bullish MACD. Volume is good. Actually, on the weekly, that's textbook. Tons of volume on the pole. Flag has weakening volume. We're ready for another breakout. Breakout to 200, 250, 300, 350. It seems like GameStop's maybe waiting for higher price action before a split. I've heard different stuff. It has to be 10 days, this or that. I'm not exactly sure. Some people are saying 10 days, I think, because they're thinking of it as a dividend with an ex-dividend date, which I'm not sure if all that is true. Actually, I haven't looked into it, but I don't know if they have an actual ex-dividend date if it's a stock split, even if it's via dividend. Because often there's quite a few stock splits that happen, and they're even with through a dividend, and I don't remember an ex-dividend date. I could be wrong. I don't have a whole lot of experience like thinking, oh, this is not a normal forward split, this is a dividend split. So yeah, kind of looking out for that. NFT marketplace release, seems like it's coming soon. NFT.Gamestop is tweeting a bunch of stuff, very bullish. Seems like they're probably going to release that any day now. Yeah, let me show you what happened here. My shares. It actually worked out really well. I think just novice investors are exercising options early. I don't see the point at all. They just lose value basically. But yeah, so I had 90. I mean, yeah, they were deep in the money. I had 500 shares with 90. I think some are 100 calls on them, short calls, cover calls, and one was like 97 or 96. I can't remember. But yeah, today I was like, oh, I'll just check that. I was just hanging out, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's no more shares. So they got called away, but it's fine. I got all my capital back, which is good. It's bullish, and now I can short puts with it. And they basically lost all the extrinsic value that those had to me. So I'm fine with that. Now I'm on to short puts. These are ones I did at the money, kind of stupid, but it's okay. I'll roll it down by Friday if we need to. The premium on it was 2,200, so that's nice. And then I haven't gotten these called away yet, but I opened up another short put on here, 132 put. Basically break even by end of day. And then on Webull, I opened up another short put too. Remember how I closed those out yesterday? They were up a bunch. Reopened them up today. Got a 148 covered call on here for Friday. They expires. That'll probably expire out of the money. 255 in credit for that. Or no, sorry, 191. And then 105, which I'll probably have to roll for next Friday. But if this gets called away, there's one trick. So basically, if your shares get called away, but you still want your shares, they get called away, and then you use the capital and just go back and buy the 100 shares. You think, oh no, but that screws you because short-term, long-term holds, long-term capital gains are cheaper than short-term capital gains. If they call your shares away and you buy new ones, it resets that clock. Aha! But what you can do is call into your broker and say, well, you have to buy the 100 shares. Either call in or do it on your whatever application you're using. It's most probably easier to just call in and just tell them to change the tax lots. So basically, the shares that were assigned or called away, you should be able to say, no, I want them to call away or use these other shares that I just bought today. And then you can retain your original shares, your original 100 shares for that call that got called away, or those shares that got called away, and your clock never resets basically. So I've done this before. I did it with Airbnb when I got it called away. I didn't do it with Fidelity just because I wanted to do short puts anyways. I didn't want to buy the shares again. But that is always an option if you're in covered calls and they get called away. And with, I think, novice investors, I don't know, unless there's some other reason why there would be, people would be exercising options way early, having to do with the stock split. I don't see why there would. It's not a dividend where you have to own the shares by this time or you miss out. So, and I'm wondering if some people are thinking that and they're like, oh, it could be any minute, I better exercise this option. I'm not too sure, but War Chest in our Discord, he had his called away and they had 10 days of expiration till expiration. So lots of time on that. It's crazy. Real quick on these options. So I'll show you kind of what I did. A lot of in and out. I shared some DD showing Sen. Sen likes to rally before GME, which is kind of interesting. And then it showed that Express and Costs, BBY, they kind of trail it. And I looked at the chart and it actually is pretty accurate. So I got BBBY and Express calls, trying to kind of capture that. BBY ones, they came up. I got them in the morning. They came up. I sold half to make them free. Kind of came back down. We'll see if that plays out. But basically, these kind of BBY and Express kind of delay the rally by a day or two from GME. So we'll see if that happens this time. Yeah, so got those. Oh, a lot of different GME stuff. My SPY call credit spreads, I closed some of them because SPY came down, but I think it was a rollover, so I maybe actually, I maybe actually took a little loss on it, I'm not sure. But I still have some for Friday also. It's easier to look at this on GME. So what I do, I closed out, I realized a little bit of profit, closed out where I showed you on kind of on the peak today, and open up this 145, 146 call credit spread, which is a bearish position on GME after that false breakout. So it was right about here when I opened it, somewhere in this area. So those are up now. I had an order to close them. It didn't close. That's okay. I'll hold until tomorrow. I think tomorrow we could see a new low before consolidation, but potentially. And these are 145. They're pretty far out of the money. So that's what you want with call credit spreads. You want them to expire out of the money. So as long as they expire anywhere in this range from 143, 144, anywhere down here, it's max profit. But then I actually also, okay, my 130, 132 call credit spread, same deal. Those are in the money. Those will probably have to close for a loss. But then I did open up, so I opened up a lot of stuff this morning and closed it out on that little false breakout. But then once GME was getting down here, I started opening up more bullish plays. Just a little bit, just a little scale in, because this could be over. We could be coming back down to double digits. But so far, I'm not convinced of that yet. This to me just looks like consolidation. RSI was hot, and we are still in a bull flag. 4 hour looks good. I mean, there is some divergences a little bit happening, but really not that bad at all. Price action looks good. Again, you heard my price targets. If we drop below certain ranges, then I'd say yes, the rally's over. And to the upside, break of that 150, like a proper break. And yeah, I think we could easily rip to 175. So wanted to get exposure for July. Let's see, do I have any for July? I have this 490, 500 call debit spread. That's just kind of a squeeze play. Next Friday, I got the 165, 195. So I've got these. 509 it costs. It's 8,500 max gain. That's if it's up around 195 by next Friday. This is kind of for this week though, because I think we could have a big rally this week coming into next week, or consolidation this week and then a rip next week. But I don't know. This is kind of uncharted again, so I'm kind of just waiting for momentum to show me which way to go, because I'm still thinking end of month, middle to end of month, 17th to the 1st might be our big move. So maybe we'll start that big move from this 140, 130 area. Maybe we'll come down and retest somewhere else before we start it. But yeah, this is kind of a little uncharted, I believe. Our volume's still good. Oh man, I had too much coffee, not enough to eat. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.